Hi students, I'm Dr. Bhavna. In this lecture we are going to continue with the topic that is called as ecology. So in the last class also we are continuing with this topic. It is very important in neat point of view. So in the last class we have started with the numerous what are the abiotic factors. So once we will go through that, what are the important abiotic factors like temperature, water, soil as well as light. These are the four important abiotic factors which are associated with that of environment, as well as biotic factors means what? They are pathogens, parasites, predators, numerous microorganisms, we humans, organisms, we all are also biotic factors. Abiotic factors means which are non-living like temperature, water, light and all, soil. So suppose in temperature we have discussed, if they can tolerate wide range of temperatures they are called as eurythermal. If they cannot tolerate wide range of temperatures they are called as stenothermal. So eurythermal, stenothermal it is done. Then usually temperature decreases from the equator towards the poles. So numerous examples about mango trees and all I have given. Then next we have discussed about the water. So water also which can tolerate high range of salinity in the water, they are called as euryhaline organisms. Which cannot tolerate are called as stenohaline. Uri, steno common terms which can tolerate wide range are called as eurythermal and which cannot tolerate stenothermal. Same comes with water also, euryhaline, stenohaline. Then we have discussed there should be proper pH and concentration also in the salinity, because freshwater organisms as well as seawater organisms differ. Suppose if freshwater organisms go to seawater, they will die. Why they will die? Due to osmotic problems which they face. So about that also we have done. Then what are the numbers like numericals? Very important in neat point of view. It is generally 5 in inland waters, 30 to 35% in sea, greater than 100 in hypersaline lagoons. 5 inland waters, 30 to 35% sea, greater than 100 hypersaline lagoons. So this is about the three important numericals that are related to water. Then light also, photosynthesis is the process which performed by the plants, and through that only we are able to have food from the plants, or else the plants will die and we will not have food. So first plants, then animals play a very important role in that of making food. So photosynthesis, always for the process of photosynthesis, light is very much needed. Sunlight is very much needed. As well as you are able to appreciate the different change in seasons, right? How is all this possible? Due to the presence of light. As well as earth will tilt around the axis of the sun. So you are able to differentiate which is the summer season and which is winter season due to presence of light only. As well as for humans also, the UVB radiations are very much essential, or else the patient will suffer from numerous diseases if there is vitamin D deficiency. So that is about the sunlight. Then we have discussed about the soil. See, soil also varies from place to place, I have told you. The nature and composition of the soil will depend on the climate. If suppose very cool climates you see different type of soil, in hot climates you see different type of soil. So soil is also an essential factor which plays an important role. So soil, when you come to soil also, numerous you see the mineral composition of the soil or the pH of the soil, the grain size of the soil. These all will determine the perlocation and water holding capacity of the soil. Means for the soil to, for the plants to grow, soil is needed, right? Then how the soil will differ from place to place based on what is nothing but climate weathering process. It will differ from place to place, that we all know. Then next we have continued about how the composition of the soil will vary from place to place. Then the soil composition as well as grain size of the soil. The size will be there for grains. Soil means it will not be very smooth, right? There will be grains. So the grain size also is very important to differentiate between different types of soils. So this all pH, everything will contribute to one place, one soil only is available. So these are the four important abiotic factors. Then we have started with what is the response which is given to this abiotic factors. Suppose abiotic factors will change from one place to another. In Himalayas, one type of water, light, soil as well as temperature will be there. When you come to suppose Hyderabad, you see different type of climate, different type of soil, everything will be different. So here the point that you should remember is abiotic factors will change from one to place, but we humans, we like mammals, our body temperature, the reaction to the abiotic factors will not generally change. That's why we are able to maintain constant body temperature. So this process of maintaining constant body temperature is called as homeostasis. Homeostasis. Homeostasis means which we are able to maintain constant body temperature from place to place. Then next, in after this homeostasis process, we all will come under regulators. Regulators. I'll show you in a graph. Suppose this is the internal level, internal environment, and this is external environment. Usually the regulators will maintain the constant body temperature wherever they go. If you go to America, you are able to maintain constant body temperature. If you live in India also, you are able to maintain constant body temperature. So we mammals, they are called as regulators. Next, conformers. Conformers means what? They will not able to maintain constant body temperature. Their body temperature usually like a graph it raises. It will raise like this. So they are called as conformers. As well as partial regulators. Means first their body temperature will rise. Then they are able to maintain, they will act as regulators. So they are called as partial regulators. First, their body temperature will be changing from one place to another. Then next it will be very much same. So they are called as partial regulators. So there are basically three types like conformers, regulators as well as partial regulators. Regulators means what? Which maintain constant body temperature when they are varying from one place to another. Conformers means what? Their body temperature will be constantly raising from one place to another. If they change, every time it will be changing. So they are called as conformers. Partial regulators means first their body temperature will be changing from one place to another. Then later it will be same. Means they maintain constant body temperature. So they are called as conformers, regulators, partial regulators. I want you all to remember this graph very clearly. So these are the three types that are related to homeostasis. So first when we are talking about the regulators, regulators means what? I am revising this. Everyone should understand clearly. Last class full I have given in detail all this. So if you have any one of you missed that, go to that video and check it out. Now I am briefing it out, okay? But I want you all to write each and every point that is related to this because it's very important in each point of view. So when you come to regulators, they maintain constant body temperature from one place to another. So what are the examples which we give? So it is basically the birds and mammals. Birds as well as mammals, we maintain constant body temperature from one place to another, right? So we are classified under regulator. We are able to maintain constant temperature. So we are classified under regulators. So we are able to regulate. So this mechanism is called as regulation. So this is about the regulators. Simple point you should remember, regulators means constant body temperature. You can imagine us, birds, mammals, we all. Normally, our body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius, right? So, if our body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius and it varies, if it is in summer, outside temperature it will go to 40, sometimes 50 degrees Celsius also. Then what will happen? To bring our body temperature to normal state, what our body will do? We will sweat profusely. Severe sweating will be seen for us. So we are able to bring down the body temperature to 37 degrees, though outside it is 50 degrees also. So in summer, when it is above 37 degrees, then we are able to maintain the constant temperature, right? So in summer, it is basically, then in winter, we are able to sweat profusely. When it comes to winter, then it will go to minus degrees Celsius also sometimes. So what your body will do? We will shiver basically. So shivering takes place. During summer, sweating takes place. During winter, shivering takes place. So what will happen due to shivering? Due to shivering of our body, what will happen is nothing but we all will have so much of heat loss from our body. So heat loss will be there from our body, and then what will happen? Again, it will come to 37 degrees Celsius. So heat loss takes place from the body due to shivering. Due to summer, it is sweating. So this, like this, our body only created this special mechanism, like how to maintain the constant 37 degrees Celsius. In summer we are sweating, in winter we are shivering to heat loss from our body. To prevent heat loss from our body, we will shiver. So again our body temperature is coming to 37 degrees. So this mechanism is all happening because we all belong to regulators. So this is the topic that is considered under the regulators. Next we will go to conformers. Simple, you all no need to get so much confused regarding this. Regulators means which are able to maintain constant body temperature. Conformers means which are not able to maintain constant body temperature. That's all. So conformers. Conformers means what? They are not able to maintain constant body temperature. 99% are usually conformers only which belong. What are the animals which you see? Numerous small animals you see, like shrews as well as hummingbirds. Numerous small animals, they all will come under conformers only. Small shrews as well as hummingbirds. Because I am stressing only these two examples because they are important in each point of view. Suppose regulators means simply you can remember birds, mammals. When you come to conformers, then you should remember that shrews, hummingbirds, they belong to regulators or conformers. Important neat question. So they belong to conformers. They are not able to maintain constant body temperature. 99% of the organisms which are present on the earth, they all are conformers, means wherever they go they will be changing their body temperature, as well as what are the examples that are classified in the conformers? They are nothing but small shrews as well as hummingbirds. In aquatic organisms also, that is which live in water also, their concentration will not match. So wherever they go, suppose from one sea to other or from land to water, if amphibians are moving, their body temperature also they will be changing from water to land. In most aquatic organisms also, all belong to conformers only. So along with small shrews and hummingbirds, aquatic organisms also belong to conformers. So this is about the conformers. Then another important point is numerous. That's why numerous important neat question. Why small animals are not found in polar regions? Because they have large surface area. As They have large surface area. Small animals will have large surface area. So there will be so much of heat loss from the body. So that's why they are not found in the polar regions. Polar means what? Temperate or polar means the same. Tropical means it is near the equator, as well as like Rajasthan and all, suppose in India. These all are classified under the tropical regions where heat is where temperature is the maximum. Then polar regions means what? Where the temperature is very less. Temperate regions like suppose Jammu and Kashmir or Shimla, everywhere you see very less. So their small animals, they are not found because they have large surface area. There will be more of heat loss from the body. Important NEET question, every alternative year they will ask, like why the smaller organisms are not found in the polar regions. Smaller organisms are not found in the polar regions because they have large surface area. So this is about that. Then when you come to partial regulators, some organisms are called as partial conformers or partial regulators. They will try to maintain constant body temperature, some organisms, but they are not able to maintain. So again they will become conformers. So that's why they are called as partial regulators. First they try to maintain constant body temperature. After some time they are not able to maintain. Why they are not able to maintain? Because of the climatic conditions. Their body is not accepting for them to maintain constant body temperature. So that's why they are not able to maintain constant body temperature. So they are called as partial regulators. So this is about that. Don't get so much confused. Remember only one point. Regulators means which maintain constant body temperature. Conformers means which do not maintain constant body temperature. Regulators, which examples are birds, mammals, we humans also. Conformers, smaller birds as well as smaller hummingbirds, shrews and all are conformers because they cannot maintain constant body temperature. 99% of the organisms are regulators or conformers means the answer is 99% of the organisms are conformers, as well as numerous aquatic organisms which live in the water. They all belong to conformers only because they change their body temperature from one place to another. As well as important NEET question now comes, what are the why are the smaller animals not found in polar regions? Because they have large surface area and heat loss will be more from their body. That's why, because they have less volume, right? They have less volume, larger surface area. So that's why heat loss from the body will be more for them. So that's why they're classified under conformers. So this is about the important NEET question that we should remember. As well as about the partial regulators I have told. They try to maintain constant body temperature but they cannot maintain. So they're classified under this one, conformers or partial regulators. Next, the next thing is migration as well as suspension. Along some organisms are trying to maintain, right? I told you now partial regulators are trying to maintain constant body temperature from one place to another. So now I'll tell you how they are able to maintain. So there is a special mechanism that is exhibited by some birds as well as some mammals, that is nothing but migration. Migration means what? Some organisms, they are not able to tolerate so much of stressful conditions. That's why they are migrating from one place to another. Suppose if you are not able to tolerate Rajasthan desert's temperature, if you are not able to live in Rajasthan, you will move to the cooler places. So from during only some specific time you will move. Suppose in summer you will move to Shimla from Rajasthan. So how you will feel? You will feel very cool in Shimla because the scorching Rajasthan deserts you are not able to bear so much of temperature. So this concept is coming under that of migration. When people or some organisms or when they cannot tolerate stressful conditions or when they cannot tolerate high temperatures or unfavorable conditions, they tend to migrate from one place to another. So that point is called as migration when they are moving from one place to another. Moving from one place to another. As well as the another important point here you should remember is usually the most common example for this migration is nothing but Kaleido National Park in Rajasthan. Kaleido National Park. Where it is seen in Rajasthan, it is seen. So basically, numerous birds from Siberia, they all come and take shelter here during winter seasons. So you are able to appreciate numerous Siberian cranes in this park basically from far off places, from different coastal regions they come and they take shelter in this national park. So Kaleido National Park, which is present in Rajasthan, it is the shelter for numerous birds which is coming from Siberia, which are coming from Siberia. They all take shelter. So why they are taking shelter? Due to winter seasons, they are not able to tolerate so much of winter in those places. So here they come and take shelter, and again after the season ends, they'll go back there. So this is about the concept that is called as migration. So they are moving from one place to another. Most common example is Kaleido National Park, which is present in Rajasthan, is acting source for that of Siberian cranes which are coming from Siberia, numerous birds which are coming from Siberia. So this is the common example which is asked. Then and don't get so much confused, what we have done in ecology. It is a very important point in NEET. That's why I'm stressing so many times. First, ecology definition you learn. Then next comes what are major biomes which are present. What are biomes exactly? Definition of ecology, then biomes what are present. Then what are the major abiotic factors? Then I told you temperature. About temperature you learn 2-3 points only are there. It will decrease as well as mango trees cannot grow. Like that you give numerous examples. Next about eurythermal, stenothermal, it is important. Then you come to water. Water only numericals I told you were important. 5 in inland water, 30 to 35% in sea. That is important. What is the salt concentration? What is the salinity that is associated with that? That is important. Then next, the third important thing that is related to this is Siberian. That one we have done. Then light. Light also very important abiotic factor, but numerous NEET questions are not asked based on light. Next, soil they are asking how the nature of the soil will differ from place to place due to climate and weathering process. That is the important point. As well as mineral composition, pH, what determine the perlocation and water holding capacity? That is important question. Right. Then now I told you abiotic factors will be changing from place to place. So when abiotic factors start changing from one place to another, then how we humans will react? So first is regulation, because we birds as well as mammals, we are able to maintain constant body temperature. We all are belonging to regulators. I told you during summer we sweat, during winter we shiver. That is done about regulators. Conformers means important here. You should remember that examples only important. Birds and mammals, regulators. Small birds like shrews, hummingbirds, they all are conformers. They are able to maintain constant body temperature. They are not able to maintain constant body temperature. Shrews in birds. As well as another important question is because small birds or smaller animals have large surface area which is associated with them, they are not able to survive in stressful conditions. They are not able to survive. So that's why in polar regions they are very rarely seen. Some exhibit a property that is called as migration. Means they are moving from one place to another. Kaleido National Park is an example of the Siberian birds are an example of migration, not regulation or conformers. They are under migration. So those examples are important. The last one is related to suspension. Suspension. See, all by name only we can understand. Regulation means we are preparing our own mechanism like shivering, sweating. Conforming means we are saying we are not able to maintain constant body temperature, our body temperature will be changing. Migration means we are migrating from one place to another, moving from one place to another. Next, when you come to suspension, we are we are suspending ourselves, not doing the work. Like that, it is suspension. By the name only, you can understand. So, suspend means what? Numerous organisms like bacteria as well as fungi, they are not able to tolerate high see they are when they are in stressful conditions, they cannot tolerate numerous unfavorable conditions, so they develop thick walled spores. Thick walled spores. Bacteria and fungi during unfavorable conditions, they develop spores within them, so they can survive in that habitat. When you come to numerous higher plants, what they will do? They can grow only during favorable conditions. They cannot grow during unfavorable conditions. So during that time, what they will do? They can't produce numerous fruits and all fruits, flowers, everything higher plants will produce. But during unfavorable conditions, they cannot produce. So during that period, they will slow down themselves and they go to a separate state that is called as dormancy. They slow down themselves and they will not produce any fruits and flowers in their trees, and they will grow to a state that is called as dormancy. So this is about that. Then other organisms also, like suppose zooplankton. Zooplankton means what? Phytoplanktons means they are the plants which are seen in the you see they are usually seen in the water. They are called as phytoplanktons. Zooplanktons means what? They are the organisms which survive on the phytoplanktons. Suppose we are humans. We survive on plants. So plants in the sea, they are called as sea. In the water sea, they are called as phytoplanktons. Those organisms which are surviving on the phytoplanktons, they are called as zooplankton. Zoology. It is related to animals. So it is zooplankton. These zooplankton also, when they are not able to survive, and numerous fishes, when they are not able to survive under favorable conditions, they go into a state that is called as diapause. Diapause. A suspended state for zooplanktons. It is called as diapause. So this is about the important thing that is related to suspension. So first is bacteria as well as fungi. They produce during unfavorable conditions, thick walled spores are produced by them. Then in higher plants, numerous higher plants, they do not produce fruits and flowers, and they go into a state of dormancy. When you come to numerous zooplankton organisms, they go into a suspended state that is called as diapause. So this is about the four responses which are given to the abiotic factors. Next we will continue in the next class with what are the adaptations which we humans or numerous animals, how we adapt to our surroundings. So this is about that. In the next class we will continue regarding this. Okay.